Up until this point, the Oscar race has been very hard to predict. Well, let's be honest, it's been damn near impossible this entire Oscar season. 2019 was such a fantastic year for film that I could name about 5 movies that could possibly win Best Picture, and I would be happy with every single one of them. That's great for film fans, but difficult as hell for Oscar fans to predict what film will win Best Picture. I've been going back and forth between Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, The Irishman, Parasite, and 1917. 4 films are all frontrunners to win the Best Picture award this year. And I'd even say that Jojo Rabbit and Joker have an outside chance as well. This Oscar season has been all over the place. However, there is one film that has been rising to the top, and at this point I think is a pretty safe bet that it'll win the Best Picture award. And that film is 1917. Ever since the surprise win at the Golden Globes for Best Director and Best Picture for 1917, the film has been picking up a lot of momentum. A film that a lot of us thought would only win for Best Cinematography is now starting to become the frontrunner for Best Director and Best Picture. Typically, I wouldn't put all of my faith in the Golden Globes. There's only so many in the Hollywood foreign press that are actually voting every year, so we can't just assume that the Golden Globes is a one-to-one predictor for the Oscars. But winning a few Globes that night can give a film momentum, which is what 1917 needed this late in the game. So while the Golden Globes isn't the end-all be-all of award shows, there is an award show that happened a couple nights ago that I do have a lot of faith in predicting the Best Picture winner at the Oscars. And that is the Producer Guild of America Awards, or the PGAs. In the past 30 years, 21 of the films that won the Best Picture award for the PGAs went on to win the Best Picture award at the Oscars. In the last 10 years alone, 8 of the films that won the Best Picture award at the PGAs went on to win the Best Picture award at the Oscars. One of those times including Green Book, where a lot of us thought it was just a fluke and couldn't possibly win Best Picture. And you all know how that ended up. I was honestly just waiting for the PGAs to happen to solidify my pick for Best Picture. In terms of nominations at the Oscars, it hit all the nominations that it needed to, even ones that I did not expect, like a Best Screenplay nomination. In addition, 1917 got cinematography, director, and picture. Editing is normally a key nomination, but I don't think it's a big deal that 1917 didn't get that nomination this year. Birdman didn't get it either in 2014, and that practically swept the Oscars. I guess Oscar voters see a film that looks like it's done in one shot and assume that there wasn't a ton of editing involved. 1917 getting the screenplay nomination was surprising to see, and that nomination is what made me start to have faith in 1917. As of now, the movie that I think threatens 1917 the most might be Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. There is a ton of love for that film, and Oscar voters might decide that it's finally time to finally award Quentin Tarantino with the Best Picture award, since no film he's made has ever taken the top prize. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood won the Best Comedy or Musical Film at the Golden Globes and won the Best Picture award at the Critics' Choice. As far as The Irishman and Parasite, I think The Irishman has pretty much died out in terms of momentum and will not be posing a threat for Best Picture anymore. Parasite does have a good chance of getting that win, and we should not be sleeping on it. Parasite won the Best Acting Ensemble award at the Screen Actor Guild Awards a couple days ago, over Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I have not heard of one person that did not at least like Parasite. Parasite is getting a ton of love, and honestly, if it does pull a surprise win, I'll be so happy. That film is incredible. Parasite is a strong contender for the Best Picture award, and the possibility of a foreign film finally winning Best Picture at the Oscars would be monumental. But I do think that the rivalry right now is between 1917 and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. What works in 1917's favor is that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood did not get an editing nomination, which is crucial because that film is edited in a traditional way and should have gotten that nomination if it is indeed a strong contender for Best Picture. Not to mention, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood having momentum since July could hurt its chances. Anyone else remember when La La Land was the frontrunner for the longest time and Moonlight came out of nowhere and stole that award? Literally. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood could be La La Land this year, and 1917 is in the exact same position that Moonlight was in that same year. At this rate, it's just a waiting game, and honestly, anything can happen. All signs are pointing to 1917 winning Best Picture, and if Sam Mendes ends up winning the DGA, I think it's a done deal, and we can expect this film to win Best Picture. But if Bong Joon-ho pulls a surprise win at DGA, the Best Picture race will get very interesting. At that point, the films that would be battling for Best Picture would be 1917 and Parasite. If 1917 does in fact win, I'll be ecstatic. It was my third favorite film of the year, and I couldn't be happier seeing a technical marvel win Best Picture. But the question goes back to you guys. Do you think 1917 is going to win Best Picture? Is it Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? Parasite? Does Irishman still have a shot? Hell, maybe Jojo Rabbit or even Joker? Let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you all so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you all next time.